Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
Today we'll discuss about the version and the journey, status rows, exit, back and on and forth. Let's start. Let me pick up an existing journey. Let's talk about the version that we have, version system. What we can do, we can create, let's say, if this is a new version, we can stop this and we can have a new version and we can create as many versions as we want. Before that, let's understand the journey status and then we'll come to the. As you can see that we have different status over here. Stop, run, interrupt. What does it mean? Whenever we create a new journey, first of all, we will get a draft status which is editable. We can make the changes, we can create the journey. And then what we do, we activate the journey and we basically flip the status of the journey into the learning status. Once we activate this, then this will become the journey. And the journey can accept the reports. And whenever it is triggered, it can accept the reports, it can accept the contacts, and the contacts can go through the journey. After that, let's say if you stop the journey, then the version like free status of the journey becomes stopped. And in the stopped version, journey cannot accept any reports or we cannot insert contact into the stopped version of the journey. Now there's one more status of the journey, that is finishing. Generally what we do, that whenever you want to start a new version or whenever you want to activate a new version, like before, that we stop the previous version and then only activate the new version. But let's say if we have a previous version running version 4 and version 5, let's say without stopping the version 4, we are activating the version first. Then that is what will happen, that the previous version will be the finishing state. Let me show you where it will go to the version 5 first of all. Now we can see that version 4 has gone into the finishing status. Now, what is the difference between the finishing, running and all this? We understood that the draft version is the version where we can make the changes and at a time, only one draft version can exist in the journey. Right now, we don't have any draft version. That is why we are getting this option to create a new version. If we had the stopped version, then we won't be able to see the option with a new version on the journey. At any time, we can only have one draft version. It is the version which is editable and we can make the changes. A running version, we understood that it can accept the new contacts and in the running journey, we cannot make changes. Like this is just a read-only journey now and we cannot make any change over here. Then we have a stop journey. A stop journey means that whenever we stop the journey, there are two things which happens. First of all, whenever you click on the stop button, all the existing contacts, basically all the contacts that are in the journey, they will be ejected immediately. Let's say we have a couple of activities over here and the contact is still at the decision district and they have not been like. We will move to the next activity yet. But if we stop the journey, like all, the contacts will be ejected immediately and they will be out of the journey. And the next one, we have a finishing status. Let's say if we start a new version or if we activate a new version without stopping the previous version, then the previous version will go to the finishing status. What does it mean? That the contacts that are there in the journey, they will have a normal exit and they will not be ejected immediately. Let's say we have a use case and we have a scenario where we don't want the contacts to exit immediately. Let's say we have this couple of activities over here and what we need to do, we need to make some modifications. But we want that the contact was entered into the journey already. They will complete their path as usual. And the new contacts will not enter into the new version of the journey that they can go through the new activities. But the contact has already entered into the previous version of the journey. We don't want to disturb them. They will have a normal exit and they will go through all that as planned. But let's say in case we have a journey in which we have made some mistake. And later on we realize we have made this mistake and the contacts are halfway. What we want to do? We don't want the contacts to complete their journey. We don't want the contacts to proceed further. What we can do in that case? We will immediately stop the journey that all the contacts are ejected immediately and they will not be able to move to the next step. We have all these four status: stop, finishing, running and draft. And we understood the differences between them, and in this scenario we should revert. Any confusion or any doubt far in terms of understanding the status? We can have only one version. We can have only one version at any one point of time. We can have many stopped version and also we can have many finishing version as well. And only in the draft version we can make the modifications. Whenever we have a draft version, we can make the changes and we cannot make the changes in the new version. Whenever we are creating a new version, it is always in a drafted status. This is what we already talked about. And we can get as many versions as we want and we can keep a new version button and then we can have all these versions. We can keep on this new version dashboard and we can see the total entries and the status and the version number and the last modified. Why do we need to create a version? If you want to make some changes or modifications with Jomi, then we can create a version of it and we can track or pivot out on changes that we have made in the latest version. Next we have Jomi Analytics. Jomi Analytics basically showed us the analytics for the email send. Since we do not have any email activity in this journey, we will go to another journey where we have the email send and there I'll show you the working of the Jomi Analytics. If you click on this, you will see this. I think the email was not sent to anybody, that is not shown. Basically, it shows the opens, clicks, bounce, unsubscribes, and here also, whenever we click on any of the email messages, then also we can see the email activity. We can see the different engagement markers. Let's change the time frame. The email was not sent for some reason. We can see the email performance, the deliveries opens, clicks and subscribes and send performance. The same thing that we are able to see in the studio, we can see over here in the journey builder as well. Now you will have to tell me. Let me ask you a question. Let's say we have a requirement where the client wants to measure the performance of the journey. How do we measure the performance in real life? Let's say I have a goal that I need to complete this book by the end of this month. What I'll do is, if I want to measure my performance on a daily basis, I'll say what is the completion, what is the goal, and how much percentage I have completed. Let's say I have to complete 100 pages of this book by the end of this month, and I'll see that I have done 10 pages. It means I have completed 10% of my goal, and tomorrow, let's say again 5 pages. It means 15% of the goal I have completed. This is how we measure the performance whenever we make our goal or whenever we have anything that we want to analyze that we want to track. This is how we can track it. It is not different in Journey Builder. In journeys, we also have goals. Many a times, let's say if you talk about the payment manager, if I want to know that we had inserted, let's say 100 customers who were supposed to make the payment before the due date, and I want to measure the performance, how this journey is performing right. Is this journey really doing that, what we expected? Is the journey really, I like encouraging the users, encouraging the customers to pay the amount before due date or not? Or how much percentage we have achieved from the phone? How we can do that? We have this. We'll talk about this goal. In goal, what we need to do? First of all, we need to apply a criteria that if this criteria is true, for example, if I take the same example, that if I am able to complete my book by the end of this month, it means my goal is complete. We have to have a criteria that if this condition is true, it means we have achieved the goal. Let's say we have Amazon customers and then we have payment status. What we want to do with that, we want that payment status should be complete for all the contacts. It means Maya have achieved the goal, or basically the journey has achieved its goal. Now there could be a possibility that the client is saying that out of 100 subscribers, even 50 subscribers, pay the amount. It means I have achieved the goal, right? Goal cannot be, let's say, even 10%. Pay the amount, then I have achieved my goal. Here we can define the percentage or the number of the total people, that if this percentage of the population, meets this criteria, I will say that I have achieved 100% of goal. For now, I'll just make it 100%, that when 100% of the population will make the payment, then only I'll say that I have achieved my goal. Here we have a checkbox called exit option. What does it mean? That whenever a customer reaches the goal, or basically whenever a customer achieves the goal, we want the customer to make the exit. We don't want the customer to stay in the journey anymore, because if they haven't made the payment, we don't want to contact them, or we don't want that to happen. For now, I'll uncheck the checkbox and I'll keep this as it is. We will understand the exit option with a different functionality. For now, what our requirement is that we need to define a goal that all the customers should make it the payment be computed. And if they do, it means they have achieved that goal. We have to find the goal over here. If you want to remove the goal, we can keep on the smooth part of the goal and it will be removed. I'll click on the done button for now. And let me see. And if you have noticed that in the goal, we basically select the contact data, because contact data is live data and we need to evaluate that, whether what is the current status of the payment, right? Otherwise, if we had taken the journey data, it would have shown the same results. It would have shown the same goal percentage throughout the journey. Let's go to data extensions. We already have a few of the customers as payment status has come updated. That is why we will get the percentage. In the interest of time, what I'm doing is that I'm just marking the list completed, that the goal can be evaluated immediately and get the goal percentage. Otherwise, what will happen? Otherwise, what will happen if you will only allow the customers to have the pending status, and when the status will become completed, then we will have the goal percentage. This might take some time. This tool shows you that how it works. I'm allowing all the contacts to enter into the journey for now. These contacts will enter into the journey and then we will have the scope data here. Let me delete this thing. Just have a random split for now. That we save this. Basically, the goal is always if we talk about it, I want to evaluate the goal, right? how much percentage I have completed. I'm not going to do this every minute in the entire day, right? I'll have to, schedule and have to think of a time wherever, like whenever I'll, make this evaluation at how many percent I have achieved of my goal. Whenever a customer reaches a wait activity, then only what will happen? The goal will be evaluated. Whenever the customer reaches a wait activity, the goal will be evaluated. And based on that, we will see the goal percentage. It cannot happen that at any given point of time, or let's say randomly, like evaluating the goal. Whenever it reaches a wait activity, then the goal will be evaluated. Let me save the changes for now. And let me stop the service motion. This version is activated now. And when the content will enter into the journal, you will see that whenever there will be a separate activity, you will see it, the content will be activated. The goals will be evaluated. And based on that, we'll see the percentage of the goal. Let's wait for a few seconds. Whenever we have configured the goal in the journal, you will see this, percentage bar. The number of the customers that have achieved this goal or reached this goal, and the percentage of the customers, and this is the percentage of the goal that this journal has achieved. We can see all the 4 customers have reached this activity. Once they will close this activity, we have this. Meanwhile, this happens, let's create a new version and then talk about the activity criteria. Let's say our requirement is that whenever a condition is met, let's say whenever they need the payment, what we want to do, that we want them to exit the journal. In the previous example, what we had seen is that we also want to measure the performance of the journey and also maybe have this option to make the content exit from the journey. Now let's say we don't want to measure the performance. What we want is that we want to have an exit criteria. Whenever this criteria is met, we want the content to exit the journey. That's it. What we can do, we can have this functionality called exit criteria defined. We can give a name, let's say payment, exit contact payment, something like this. For the next button, we have to define the criteria. I will define the same criteria. That whenever the payment status is increased, it comes to complete. Click on Done. And if you have missed, click on Done. I'll set the changes. Now let's go to the previous version and see whether they are able to see the quality percentage or not. Let's wait for a few more minutes. Sometimes it might take some time to show the percentage. Like in this generation, 33%. Similarly, it will show what we are at 70%. Let's go to the number 7. Here we have this exit criteria defined. What will happen? Whenever the content will reach the build activity, the exit criteria will be evaluated. And if they meet the exit criteria, then all those content will exit from the journey. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.